Okay, as we begin the prep work for weeks 10 through 12, you're going to notice that I'm going to come back through several things that you've done already, just so we can actually work on getting more range of motion and continuing on improving at certain aspects of the prep routine. So you will recognize a lot of things, maybe a little bit different combination than you've done before. We'll start off here in week 10. You'll notice that the first thing at the top is a rocking ankle mob. We'll take the pike position, crossing one leg down the other, driving the heel down to the pike, relaxing back up, driving down, relaxing back up. So you're getting stretch in the calf, you're getting range of motion through the ankle. After that, you'll move on to your hip mobility. It's a Spider-Man combination with a shift, the reach, and the extension. Obviously here you are getting some good thoracic mobility as well. To remind you what we're doing here, we'll take, in this case, my left leg at 11 o'clock. I'll go through a series of shifts. I would do, say, 5 of those. I'd lock the 5th in. And then there's my thoracic reach, maintaining good thoracic extension, good separation of the hips. I'd do my set of 5 there. Then I'd go to the outside. Then I'd go through my extensions. 5 of those, and I'd switch the other leg. Next, as you go to hip rotation, back to a knee, which you performed a couple times before. Feet wide, palms up. Driving your knees in. Try to keep your feet as flat as possible. Remember, so as we come back through those again, it'd be interesting to see if we've gained that range of motion from the first couple of times you've performed that. There's not a T-spine specific one for week 12. Week 10, where we've already performed a reach still in the Spider-Man work. Next, you go to the caterpillar. We fall out. And an inch back in. Fall out. Inch back in, trying to keep your legs straight. So in addition to hamstring dynamic flexibility, there's some core and shoulder stability that are involved there as well. Next, moving on to your upper section, you'll see a side lying 10-degree external rotation. So for that, we're going to create 10 degrees. This would be 0, this would be 90. We're going to create 10 degrees with a hand right there. This is a 5-pound plate. Laying on our side. And we're just rotating externally. You'll notice as we go through the prep work in these 3 weeks, I'm involving more arm care type stuff for the shoulder. The significance of the 10 degrees is keeping your hand right there. Don't let that separate. Don't let this separate back here. Keep your shoulder blade set down and back as you work through that. Now we've just done throwing shoulder on that one, but feel free to obviously work both sides if you have the time or if you want to. Significance there. Your brain will only allow your internal rotators to work as hard as your external rotators. At least they believe your external rotators can stop that motion. So the stronger your external rotators are, the more your brain will allow those internal rotators to take over and max out. Next, you'll see Frankenstein's. That's just a scapular retraction. So we'll start hands out here, just pinching back, maybe a set of 10 of these. Just keep retracting, pinching those shoulder blades together to get that trapezius firing. Next is side plank with the leg raise. What we do here is we'd hold a side plank for about 5 seconds, making sure alignment's perfect, and then we'd rep out 5 of these leg raises, making sure it's a true lateral raise, and they're pretty tough, but make sure that that foot doesn't open up, that you keep a true lateral raise there. You perform, I get about 5 of those raises, relax, go to the other side, repeat the process, 5-second plank, and 5 leg raises under control. Next, the movement series, karaoke to a go. For that one, there's a couple segments here. We do a quick foot karaoke to a power karaoke to a go. So it looked like this. We go quick to power. Same thing coming back. To power. To go. And then week 10 med ball. We've got a recoil overhead floor stomp. So for that one, you're going to get rotation through the hips, the T-spine. As you hammer down, we'll alternate this one. So it'll be right here. Alternating that on each side, probably a set of 10, 5 on each side would be a good set for that. And it's paired with the recoil shot put. So that's going back to just a fundamental recoil shot put in which we load real high right here, we're back through, and then we'll finish through like that. So if I were to use against this net right here, we'd be going and then through. And again, I'd mix up, if you had the option, using 6s one day, 4s another day, so you have kind of heavier days and more velocity days. As you move on now to week 11, there's no ankle specific movement. You're actually going to start where you see 1 by the half kneeling hip flexor. To remind you which one that one is, you're facing a wall, pulling the leg up behind you, and you're rocking back and forth there with your chest tall. You're getting length on the quad and length on the flexor. The closer your heels to your butt, the more length you're going to get on the quad. Then you'll work back up to the hip, a multi-planar reach driver lunge. So for the reach driver lunge, remember you're going to take the plate, shoulders back, and then I'm going to go. There's my linear, there's my lateral, and there's my diagonal. Get on the left side, linear, lateral, and diagonal. So usually what I would do is I'd go in each of those directions about 5 reps linear reach, 5 lateral, so on and so forth through all those directions. Next is single leg deadlift driver. Remind you what that one is, taking a plate, pulling through from the side, pull through. So you simply just keep your plate going from the driver lunge to the driver deadlift. Again, that's going to add a little more intensity to what you're doing. Next you'll move on to the T-spine windmill. So for the windmill, take a sideline position. I'm going to separate hips and shoulders here. I'm here. I'm going to go over the top. And then come back through over the top. And come back through. I'm really bracing hard here, again, to make sure I'm getting shoulder turn, but not lumbar turn. My head leads. And I come back through, perform that on both sides for probably sets of 5 to be good. To the upper section, your elbow push-up. Remind you, take this position here. Core's on. A set of 10 would be good there. And it's again a lot like that Frankenstein activity where I'm back and forward to get the trapezius turned on. Next, no money, which we've done before. Elbows by your side. Turn on the external rotators, the lower trapezius in the back. Keeping posture in place, opening up the hands while keeping the elbow next to the side. Single leg figure 8, that'll be a new one. Take a single leg position, so right away you're getting good core activity, hip, knee and ankle stabilizers, and a quarter squat stance on that leg. I'm going to hold the plate here. Now I'm going to start small in a figure 8, and then gradually I can work bigger, slow and controlled. Working for a lot of stability here, also a lot of shoulder stability as I work through that 8. You're probably, with the older guys, working with a 10-pound plate, younger guys maybe a 5 on that one. And what I do is I switch, I do maybe 3 to 5 on my left leg, 3 to 5 on my right leg. Next, the linear reaction skip with multi-planar transition. For that one, you'll control this as coaches. You'll have them visually watching whether they're skipping forward or back. You're pointing them forward or back. And if they're going forward and you say go, it's a change of direction and we sprint back. If at the time you say go, they reverse. And you say go, then they're going to sprint forward. So they're going to react the opposite direction with the sprint that they're moving at the time with that skip pattern, making sure they get good range of motion on their technique. The